see anything like this?
Not like this.
Hold on, hold on, hold on!
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Film Jump with Jesse and Chris. Chris, we just saw Twisters.
Yeah, we did the early screening, and a lot better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. We're riding high a little bit because we just got out of it, but I got to say, first reactions, first thoughts, really solid movie. Better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be bad or anything like that, but I was like, okay, that's going to be kind of like a middle-of-the-road entry in the summer, and it's kind of like, I don't want to call it the sleeper hit, but sort of the sleeper in the sense of way better than most will expect it to be. It feels like it's very underhyped relative to how good it actually is.
Yeah. So it's directed by the guy who directed Minari. I don't have his name in front of me right now. It stars Glenn Powell, and I don't know the girl's name, but I have to say, man, this movie has an energy about it, a really fun energy. Glenn Powell, super charismatic, as Tyler Owens, the Tornado Wrangler. Yeah, man, it just has a really solid energy, really fun. Sometimes it's a little predictable, but overall, what a great summer blockbuster.
Yeah, the directors, by the way, Lee Isaac Chung, and the female lead was Daisy Edgar Jones.
She,
Talented. Everybody all around. Like, it's a bit of an ensemble cast, really solid casting all around, really good direction. You know, it's not just typical cut and paste summer blockbuster. It's got a vibe to it. It's got a tone, and yeah, really, really fun style. Like, the kind of definition of how you would think a summer blockbuster movie could be or should be, or maybe kind of how it used to be back in the day. You know, they don't make them like this anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of an energy, and just a really, really entertaining blockbuster movie. A real crowd pleaser.
Yeah, so the movie starts off a little bit kind of predictable, and I was a little worried at first because, like a lot of movies, it starts off with, I don't want to spoil too much, but somewhat of a tragedy, and then it's like, okay, well, the character has to recover from that and move on, and that's a part of the character arc. Mm-hmm. But it goes a step further, and I think like a lot of the dialogue, the way the characters communicate, it kind of has this unique, almost realness to it, like
an Americana.
Yeah, there's a sincerity to it. Mm-hmm. I really liked it. There's some kind of needle drops here and there as far as tracks that are used, whereas sometimes I maybe would have preferred an original score.
Yeah.
But still.
Or maybe just some choices that were a little bit more mainstream or to my liking. I'm not going to be picking up the Twister soundtrack anytime soon, but maybe some people will really dig the needle drops. But overall, it's a really fun energy. Really, it does work. It does hit. It does capture the vibe of what it is. That sort of middle America kind of Tornado Alley, that kind of area of the country, and it does, and I think it's going to play well to those kind of folks. But it's just a fun time. It's a good movie. Yeah,
when we left, we were talking. We're like, it's definitely not. It's not nearly as good as a Top Gun Maverick.
No,
but I think it's on the same road.
Yeah, I like I said, I feel like when Top Gun Maverick came out, everyone's like, is Hollywood going to learn the right lesson from this? Are they going to look at that and maybe try to make movies that follow in that footstep a little bit? And again, like you said, Twisters is not on the level of Top Gun Maverick, but it feels like it's up that alley. Like it's shooting up that kind of vibe. Like, can we just make a movie that everyone can enjoy, that's a fun time, a fun experience, wholesome, sincere, kind of plays it straight, and is just trying to be that sort of blockbuster thrill ride, crowd-pleasing kind of a movie. And this is a pretty good attempt at that.
Yeah, I think Hollywood is all in on Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
I think he's got... Tom Cruise is a smart man, and he was like really kind of, bringing him along and kind of setting him up for success. And I think Hollywood is picking up on that. And I see a bright future for that guy.
Yeah, there will never be another Tom Cruise, and Chris Pratt is his own kind of star as well. But Glenn Powell seems like he's kind of carefully choosing the kind of projects that he wants to be with. It seems like he's thinking of himself as a brand. You can see how Top Gun Maverick and this movie kind of feel like they're on point for the kind of movies that he wants to be involved with, and like I say, more power to him.
As I was watching the movie, I couldn't help but think about the original Twister with Bill Paxton and Helen Hunt. Mm-hmm. Great movie, love that movie, and when we left, I kind of was like, man, I kind of felt like this one maybe was missing the driving through the house, like the wow factor that original one brought. Like, man, these, it felt like it was very innovative back then.
Yeah.
And, and the drive-in being ripped apart and they're arguing when Dorothy was trying to send off the thing. But after the movie, thinking about it now, I kind of, it still hit that level for me. Is it a better movie than the first one? I think that's up for people to decide for themselves.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, I think it's on that same level of awesome popcorn summer blockbuster.
Yeah, and as someone who hadn't seen the first one since the old days, maybe the VHS days, certainly not any past the DVD days, and I was never someone who saw it very many times, I still loved this one. Taking it as a standalone,
Yep.
It still worked really well for me. I thought it still had some excellent twister sequences and hurricane sequences and destruction and, involving the elements, fire and whatnot. I thought it was still, really excellent, really engaging. I love a sequence that's set in and around a movie theater. I was oh my gosh, that just that really pushed it into the stratosphere for me. I loved it. They're playing Frankenstein in the theater. I'm like, it's like that's an easy way to get me really, really on board with what's happening. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and speaking of the twisters, the VFX work in this, I don't know what kind of simulations they're doing or if it's all handcrafted or I'm not the expert, but I have to say this movie in particular, they really nailed the look of it. Hollywood took a long time to get that sandstorm from like The Mummy or the tornado VFX simulation right, and they got it right. There's a thrilling sequence where there's fire involved in a certain tornado, and that looked just incredible.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And CGI always keeps getting pushed into more and more character work, creatures and things like that, and things using it just straight up for elements or destruction and land masses and things like that. It has clearly gotten to a point of near perfection, and it's nice to see a movie that just kind of relishes in that. And it was just, it was really a spectacle. And it was enjoyable. Yeah,
you get your destruction, you get, some fatalities here and there, but I gotta say, I leave the theater feeling in a similar way I did with Top Gun Maverick, and that is a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, not that 10 out of 10. But maybe a really solid like 8-ish. It's aiming for that.
Yeah. It might be recency bias, but I would give it a 7.5 right now.
Yeah.
It might creep higher. It might stay there. I don't know. But if I had to give it a rating,
and
it was
an easy movie for audiences to enjoy.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
One that if you take the family or a group of friends, you're gonna come out having all had a really good time watching it.
I agree with that. I think the whole family can enjoy it because they don't have to. A lot of movies nowadays, PG-13 movies, they always slide in their 2 uses of the F word. Or they're
some very suggestive
or whatever they
lines
can.
Or things like that.
There's mild language, but this is, I think, a movie that your older kids can appreciate and go watch.
Quite tame.
Yeah.
And little kids like to be scared too. When you're a little kid, Jurassic Park is a scary movie, all the dinosaurs and stuff. So this is one of those that like a younger kid could see this and it's sort of like safe scary because it's not really grisly or horrifying or monsters and demons and things. It's just kind of like
it's thrilling.
The intensity of the thrills, And so it kind of has that kind of Jurassic Park original Twister kind of energy to it.
Yeah, this was an Amblin movie. So yeah, final thoughts.
Yeah, it's solid. It's a really, really good movie. It's not some masterpiece, but really, really good and kind of definitely one of the sleeper hits of the summer for sure. Like I hope it finds a large audience because it deserves it. It's definitely underhyped. Definitely give it a chance to get on the fence.
Yeah, I really hope that it survives the onslaught of Deadpool and Wolverine coming up. But I agree. I really enjoyed this movie. I highly recommend it. I think you'll have a great time. My biggest recommendation is definitely see it in IMAX with a very loud system.
If you can find an IMAX or an Atmos or a Dolby Cinema, something premium, especially with an emphasis on the sound system, that is where you will get the most bang for your buck for this movie.
I agree. All right, so let us know. Are you guys excited to see Twisters? What do you think about the original? I think we definitely need more blockbusters like this. It's almost wholesome,
Keep it up,
sincere,
Hollywood.
Very sincere. It's almost James Cameron-esque in how the story is very classically told. Like just, you might say it's kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Old-fashioned. It's a good time, man. It's a good time. So it would be awesome if you guys could like and subscribe. We're coming back with more, and I think next will be our Deadpool and Wolverine review.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. So, all right, everyone. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Have a good one.